one of my fights I had with Lipinda, I knew he wasn't giving me enough money, but I wanted to fight, I wanted to travel, but I knew there was more money. But he was always, oh no, there's no more money, la 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 la. So I'm at this. I think it was the. I think not the Pride show, not the. I did everything. So it's gonna not Kingdom. One of the Japanese shows. Don't come to me. But the promoter came to me, and he had $10,000 in cash, and he had this big smile on his face, like he knew he was screwing Lipinda. He knew he was giving it to Lipinda up the ass. He walked up, he goes, "Oh, here's your money," and I'm like, I was making $3,000 for the show, I think. And it was $10,000 there. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, well, he goes, since Lipinda didn't come, he doesn't get his cut. So I'm giving it to you. You can give him his cut. And he smiled at me. The guy didn't like Lipinda at all. Okay. So he smiled and goes, yeah, here, you can give Lipinda his cut. I'm like, well, oh yeah, for sure, I will. And then I got on the phone and I said, hey, I got our money. He goes, what? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, why don't you meet me at the airport? I'll give you that $7,000 you earned in my fight. And, hey, just come pick it up. Just come. I'll just mail it to you. No, I want you to come and take it from my hand. You earned it. You earned it. Come and get it. He didn't show up. Oh, don't be like that, man. Don't be like that. I'm like, be like what? Just come look me in the eye and take the money you earned.
Is actually Dan Severn as a promoter. And you fought for Danger Zone 13 in a 4-man tournament. And you fought Jesse Alt. Oh, here, first off, what were your feelings going into a tournament at this point in your career?
Okay, so I was so excited for one reason. They had a belt. If you won this tournament, you won a belt. So, I'm make-believe UFC fighter at that time. I don't know the difference. A belt's a belt. And my father was a rodeo guy. And if he rode well in the rodeo, you could win a buckle. So in my dad's younger day, he wore a buckle, and he wore that buckle every day, but he had won it. He earned that buckle. He was proud of it. So now I get to get my belt. So I got to fight 2 guys, but I get to get a belt. So I get to the hotel, we check in, and I go to the hotel with my opening round draw. We're in the same room. Severn puts us in the same room, right? So you got queen beds. His name was Scott Shipman, perfectly nice guy, but that's awkward. I mean, that's just weird no matter how much we want to act like it's not. So I told Scott, I go, hey man, great meeting you. I'll be right back. And I took my bet. He knew I wasn't coming back. So I go to the front desk with my own credit card. I mean, I don't see Scott until we're fighting for this belt. And Dan's been nothing but a gentleman to me, but I got one negative Dan story, which was when this whole thing's done. And I do win the belt. When the whole thing's done, it was videoed. So I'm trying to buy the video. It's $20. You had to mail this thing in and you send a check. So they cash my check, but they don't ever send me the video. And I wanted to show my father the fight. So I send an email to Becky Levi. And I was like, Becky, I've waited on this for 2 months. Can I please have the video? So then Dan gets involved, and Dan demands that I send proof of payment, a copy of the front and the back of the. Now, this is a $20. I just thought it was rude. It's like, Dan, if I went to all this work to scam you out of a $20, just give me the video.
First of all, what kind of person? That's unbelievable that they charge you for a fight that you fought in, man. I mean, come on, dude.
But then, Chris, he also accused me of lying that I didn't buy it and wanted me to provide proof. Like, I'm not going to a copy machine and then to the post. Like, I'm just not going to do it. Just keep it.
Did you ever deal with Fedor?
He's younger than me, and 8 years or 9 years younger, and they were training at Red Bull, I think.
Red Devil.
Red Devil, yeah, Red Devil. So everything was strange. I kind of, Vadim Felkenstein invited me to St. Petersburg to be just a host. I mean, not host, but doing a commentary about fights. And he didn't pay me money. He promised, but he didn't. He didn't get me a hotel. He didn't pay me for my train. And I say to myself, hey, fucker, you think you're smart? Okay, watch what I'm going to do. And I start, instead of doing a commentary about the fights, I was reading my poetry. I was talking about anything, but not about the fight. And he was like, "Oh fuck, what this stupid ass is doing?" I say, and I was looking at him like,
You didn't pay.
"He didn't pay."
Time I fought in your backyard there, Mike, up in Chicago, up in Chi-Town. Unbelievable. I get a phone call. It's like, hey, we got a fight for you. This guy named Ed Kim's putting on a fight. Never heard of him. Like, he's a new promoter. I said, oh, okay, Ed Kim sounds like an established gentleman, knows what's going on. So I started wondering, okay, because they were offering pretty damn good money at the time. And I was thinking, this is like twice what I'm getting paid in Japan. You know what I mean? So what's going on? And I said, I don't know if I trust this, but then I hear Monty Cox has about 4 guys on the card. Turns out to be like 6. He's got like Rich Franklin. You got Laverne Clark. I think that's who I was fighting.
Travis Fricklin was on that.
Yeah. Brad Gum, or whatever the guy's name was, or some just a lot of UFC veterans were on the card. I was like, oh man, this sounds legit, So I'm in. Train. I was like, Laverne Clark. You got to understand, if you look Laverne Clark up, not
That's
really
a bad man.
Well, back in the day, I think he was like 3-1 in the UFC, and he was a good boxer who could fight, man. Good wrestler, actually, just a good athlete.
I'll tell a quick story. Back in the days when the UFC you could wear shoes, he actually, I don't know what type of accident he got into, but he did a UFC fight with shoes and like a lost 2 toes that he had that were cut off that he crazy glued shut. Laverne
Really?
Clark. Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely a bad man. He was from Iowa over there. I think Davenport with some weird stuff went down. So anyway, so I'm fighting him. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be a tough fight, man. It's going to be a tough fight. So, I train, I go out there, I win my fight. I'm super excited. And first of all, nobody showed up. I don't know where they dropped the ball. Was it advertising or what? I mean, he had a great card, great fighters, but nobody.
Not a single poster. Not a single poster was up. Chris, there was more people. I was there. There was more people working the event and participating in the event than there was in the audience.
Yeah, if you said you were there, I must have heard you cheered because you were the one. So afterwards, I'm like, this dude took a bath here. That sucks. So I go, well, I need my check, or I need my money. So he paid everybody in check. I was like, all right. Didn't think much of it until when everybody on the card's check bounced. I was like, what? How are we going to get this guy back? The guy bounces everybody's check, files bankruptcy, goes into hiding, never to be seen from again. So I don't know what happened, but somehow you're supposed to have that money in escrow. They said they saw some receipt where that was, and then he took it out. I'm like, that's not how that works. But this is why commissions got involved. And I was just shocked to see like Monty Cox would be involved with something where people weren't getting paid. So maybe his people did. I don't have any idea. I know I didn't get paid. I'm still pissed off about it, So if I see him, you go up and kick him in the nuts and say, you owe Chris like $5,000.
You know what we should do? We should try to find him on Facebook.
Oh, we should do it now.
I guarantee he's there. I guarantee he's there.
It's went away. Man, it went away. We're still looking for you, but I was like, man, rip off the Girl Scouts or some old lady grandma. You don't rip off a bunch of fighters, man. They're gonna try to find you at some point and like at least had a job. You think Laverne Clark's not looking for your ass right now?
Maybe that's what we do. We set up our Patreon, for our subscribers, and they throw money in. We send Laverne Clark on a Greyhound to go see Ed Kim, and we just video it. It'd be really good content for our channel. So we had Monty on a few months ago, and he had said, right before the Sam Stout trilogy kind of came into play, that you two had parted ways, and it was, in his words, partly in part due to the fact that he opposed, the third fight taking place. Who did you pick up as a manager after you had departed with Monty?
Mickey Derberly.
Okay. And how was your experience with him?
Yeah, good. We had a couple of issues with some of the guys that were supposed to pay for sponsorships, but everything else was smooth. But a couple of the guys, their company went under, but yet they were still trying to sponsor and get in the UFC. And so it was a kind of a cluster with that part.
All right. So what happens, Chris, is toe to toe and it was just kind of like biker letter toe.
Yeah, I remember.
The number 2 biker letter toe. They sponsor Spencer, and they owed you quite a bit of money, from what I understand. Am I correct?
Yes.
Do you recall the amount?
No, I don't. Not offhand. I don't.
It was like 15 grand or something, like probably north of 15 grand.
Oh, she said it was 30 or 40 grand.
Oh my God.
Someone's gonna
So
have to die.
well, and you know what? You're talking to a guy from the right camp to make that happen. You know what I mean? He's up in Iowa, and you know that's not far enough of a distance, you know, not to make that happen. So toe to toe, they owed you money for about a year. And did you ever hear from them at all, or did they just kind of blow you off?
I did a radio podcast, and I called in, and he got off. As soon as I called in, he was home. He was in a podcast, and they brought me on, and he literally got off the phone as soon as I got on.
We used to call people from, because there's this Joe Stevens used to have this trick where you could call people from other people's numbers. So he would call people from Joe Silva's number and be like, "You made it to the UFC," and they'd be like, "Oh God," and they'd be so happy. And then
Wow.
and then Joe would call him back like, "Who the fuck's this? How'd you get this number?" it was fucked up. But
Wow.
that's how easy Joe's life was. Just a phone call would make people's lives, and then he got some sort of sick enjoyment at abusing me, you know, like fucking like the first time I left the UFC because I got knocked out by Diego. My next fight was Anderson Silva. That's what they offered me. I'm like, why? Can you please fucking stop trying to kill me? And then he's like, because I go, I'm not fighting 170, going 85. He goes, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We got Anderson Silva coming in. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I'm like, can you? I was like, okay, I'll take that. Just give me one comeback fight. I just got knocked out the first time. He goes, not a chance. I'm like, all right. So then Strikeforce was talking about me fighting Jake Shields. So I asked for my release, and they gave it to me, and which was good and bad. But you know, and Joe said, like, it took me about 3 times to ask. He's like, "Yeah, fine, fuck you, you got it." You know, but yeah, I think that's one of the first times people ask for a release. But
Who was managing you at this time?
again, I had a manager. I think Ken Pavia, a fucking crook. I think that I know Chris knows him. Chris was managed by the same guy. But yeah, but again, I would pick up the phone when I shouldn't, you know. But it was Ken Pavia is another fucking snake in the grass. Again, I created a lot of problems for myself that wasn't needed.
Would you care to expand on that statement?
Oh God, about my manager?
Oh, Pavia.
Oh God, damn it! I mean, he would steal from me. I think when the first red flag was when I signed with Strikeforce. My signing bonus went directly to him, and then and when I talked to Scott Coker, he's like, you know, we normally don't give signing bonuses to guys, but you know, we felt it was appropriate. My signing bonus, what the fuck is that? And then I go to Ken. I'm like, Ken, he's talking about some signing bonus. He goes, he's talking some nonsense. I'm like, okay, makes sense.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, and because I'm at the Playboy, and he goes, look at you, Joe. You're at the main event, the Playboy Mansion. I'm like, yeah, can't argue those facts. Here I am. You know?
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.